So today I'm going to do a little bit of a Macbeth with you. This is to help my brother. He's in grade 11. And I'm going to just basically help you understand the play and what I remember being asked as questions and stuff like that. So the first thing we're going to go through is the characters. So we have Duncan, who is the King of Scotland, and Malcolm and Donalbain, which are his children. Then we have Macbeth and Banquo, generals of Duncan's army, Macbeth, Lennox, Ross, Menteith, Angus, and Caithness, noblemen of Scotland. I know Macbeth features a lot, and Lennox as well. The others I can't remember. Fleance is very important. He is the son of Banquo. And then there's just the other characters, Lady Macbeth, etc. So we start with Act 1, and there's already notes in this book, which is great because it's going to save me time writing them. So we have Act 1, Scene 1, and it says an open place at or near Hellgate. So basically saying the witches in Ledge of the Devil. So the witches are near the devil. It's like near the devil. Thunder and lightning into 3 witches. Okay, so these witches are 3 being related to a witchcraft number, but we have the 3 witches. So the first witch, when shall we 3 meet again in thunder, lightning, or rain? So she's basically just asking when will they meet each other again at this place that they're already at. So the second witch says when the hurly-burly is done, when the battle's lost and won. So basically saying when, because there was currently a battle going on in Scotland, and they're saying that when this battle is over and done with, that's when they'll meet again. So the third witch says that will be ere the set of sun, so before the sun sets. The witches can predict future, it's one of their powers. And then the first witch asks where the place. The second witch says upon the heath. And then the third witch says there to meet Macbeth. So basically, they're witches. So if they want to meet Macbeth, you've got to understand it's not for a good reason. So Macbeth, we already said, is one of the king's generals. And then the first witch says, I come, Grey Malkin. So she's basically saying to the cat that's meowing that she's coming. And then the second witch says, Paddock calls, which is a frog. So the frog is calling. And then the third witch says anon. So that means now. And they all say, fair is foul and foul is fair. Hover through the fog and filthy air. So which is often missed. So this is a chant or tune that they sing. That means that good is evil and evil is good, which is a paradox because it's opposite. So this is the theme of appearance versus reality. People appear to be good, but they're evil. They hover, fly, and affect, and in the dirty air they're flying. Okay, so scene 2, a camp near Forest, Duncan's castle in Scotland. Alarm. Enter King Duncan, Malcolm, Donalbain, Lennox with attendants, meeting a bleeding captain. So Duncan is the king. What bloody man is that? He can report, as seemeth by his plight, of the revolt, the newest state. So, judging by his injuries, he can give us an update of the battle. He must have been there. Malcolm, this is the sergeant, who like a good and hardy soldier fought against my captivity. Hail, brave friend, say to the king the knowledge of the broil, as thou didst leave it. So the man was fighting to keep everyone free, and tell us what happened before you left. Okay, so the captain says, doubtful it stood, as 2 spent swimmers that do cling together and choke their heart, the merciless MacDonald, worthy to be a rebel, for to that the multiplying felonies of nature do swarm upon him from the western isles, of kerns and gallow glasses is supplied, and fortune on his damned quarrel smiling, showed like a rebel's whore, but all's too weak for brave Macbeth, while he deserves that name, disdaining fortune with his brandished steel, which smoked with bloody execution, like a valor's minion carved out his passage till he faced the slave, which never shook hands nor bade farewell to him, till he unseamed him from the navel to the chops and fixed his head upon our battlements. So Swimming armies to comparing armies to swimmers and say they are at a deadlock. Rebel who fought against him, MacDonald, he is ruthless and violent. He hired the army. Fortune was on his side during the beginning. It showed like rebels or can't trust fortune. Okay, so basically, Macbeth was very brave in this fight, and he, as far as I can remember, and if it's wrong, I will correct it. So as far as I know, this MacDonald was not for the king. He actually caused this battle, and Macbeth basically was a man of the king and fought for the king. Okay, so Duncan says, "Oh, valiant cousin, worthy gentleman." So he's saying that because Macbeth is now Duncan's cousin, he's glad to hear that Macbeth fought for him. So he says, "As whence the sun gins his reflection, shipbreaking storms and direful thunders break, so from that spring whence forth comforts seem to come, discomfort swells. Mark, King of Scotland, mark, no sooner justice had, with valour armoured, compelled these skipping kerns to trust their heels, but the Norveying lord, surveying vantage, with furbished arms and new supplies of men, began a fresh assault." So from the east to west, so where comfort comes from, Norway attacks and the comfort zone is destroyed. They see an opportunity, thinking the Scottish would be weak because they just fought a war. Vikings wanted to attack with fresh arms. So basically they attacked the Scottish people. Okay. Dismayed not this, our captains Macbeth and Banquo. So the captain says, "Yes, as sparrows, eagles, or the hare, the lion. If I say sooth, I must report they were as cannons overcharged with double cracks. So they doubly redoubled strokes upon the foe, except they meant to bath in reeking wounds, or memorize another Golgotha. I cannot tell, but I am faint. My gashes cry for help." So basically this guy is saying that as eagles don't fear sparrows, they don't fear the Vikings. Golgotha is where the hill where Jesus was crucified. And then he says, "But I'm faint, my gashes cry for help." So he can't continue the story because his wounds are hurting too much. So Duncan says, "So while thy words become thee as thy words, they smack honour of both. Go get him surgeons, so his wounds show his bravery, and his words show his honour." So the captain off attended. "Who comes here? Enter Ross and Angus, Malcolm, the worthy Thane of Ross." So Lennox, the attendant, what a haste looks through his eyes. Should he look, that seems to speak things strange. So he has strange dramatic news. So Ross says, "God save the king." So Duncan says, "Whence comes thou, worthy Thane? Where do you come from?" Ross says, "From Fife, great king, where the Norwegian banners flout the sky and fan our people cold. Norway himself, with terrible numbers, assisted by that most disloyal traitor, the Thane of Cawdor." So like I said previously, what's his face? MacDonald, I think it is. Yes, MacDonald. He was the Thane of Cawdor, but he was a traitor to the King of Scotland. Began a dismal conflict till that Bellona's bridegroom, lapped in proof, confronted him with self-comparisons, point against point, rebellious arm against arm, curbing his lavish spirits, and to conclude, the victory fell upon us. Great happiness. Okay, so the King of Norway with many Vikings were invading Scotland. Bellona's is the goddess of war, and Macbeth won the battle for Scotland. So Ross says that now. Swenro, the Norway's king, craves composition, nor would we dine him burial of his men till he disbursed at St. Colm's Inch $10,000 to our general use. So he's begging for peace, but they can't. They have to pay for their damage before they can bury their men. So until they've paid the damage that they've done for the war, they can't bury their men. So Duncan says, "No more that Thane of Cawdor shall deceive our bosom interests. Go pronounce his present death, and with his former title greet Macbeth." So Thane of Cawdor was MacDonald. He was a traitor. He went against his country, and Macbeth gets his position. So that's what they say. And with his former title greet Macbeth. So Ross says, I'll see it done. And then Duncan, what he hath lost, noble Macbeth has won. So what the Thane of Cawdor has lost, Macbeth has won. And then it says off. Now, before I continue, I just want to say that you've got to remember it's so important to remember that Macbeth is going to become the Thane of Cawdor. Okay, so now Macbeth doesn't know it yet. Keep that in mind. So now we're going to go to scene 3. A barren heath near Forres in Scotland. Thunder. Enter the 3 witches. Which one? Where hast thou been, sister? And then the second witch says killing swine, which is pigs. And then third witch says, sister, where thou? And the first witch. A sailor's wife had chestnuts in her lap, and munched and munched and munched. So basically she munched. Give me, quoth I. So the witch asked her to give her some. Aroint thee, so witch. So she says, get lost, witch. The rump-fed rayon cries. So the sailor's wife being described as a rump, a fat bum, because the wife wouldn't give her chestnuts, she decided to take revenge on her husband. So you'll see here it says, her husband's to I'll pepper gone, master the tiger, but in a sieve I'll thither sail, and like a rat without tail, I'll do. So the second witch says, I'll give thee a wind, control the winds of the shipman's maps. Thou art kind. So the first witch is saying that you're kind, because now she's trying to take revenge on this woman by doing something terrible to her husband because he's working on a ship. And the third witch says, and I another. And then the first witch says, I myself have all the other, and the very ports they blow, all the quarters that they know. I, the shipman's card, I'll drain him dry as hay. Sleep shall neither night nor day hang upon his penthouse lid. Okay. He shall live a man for good. Weary 7 nights, 9 times 9. Shall he dwiddle, peak, and pine? Though his bark cannot be lost, yet he shall be tempest tossed. Look what I have. So he's going to live like a man under a curse. The witch will torment him 81 weeks. Barky ship, she will torment him but not kill. So they're going to bring a very bad storm upon him. So the second witch says, show me, show me. And the first witch says, here I have a pilot's thumb, racked as homeward he did come. Has another body part, a thumb to use in a potion. A drum within. Third witch, a drum, Macbeth doth come. So they're going to put on like a little dance for Macbeth. They dance in a ring, whirling faster and faster. All the weird sisters, hand in hand, posters of the sea and land, thus do go about, thrice to 9, and thrice to mine, and thrice again make up 9. Peace, the charms wild up. So, holding hands in a circle, travellers of the sea and land. Here, posters of the sea and land. 3 times 3 is a chant, which 3 times 3 equals 9 is the chant spell that they're singing. They stop suddenly and a mist hides them. Enter Macbeth and Banquo. So Macbeth says, now keep in mind he still does not know that he's going to be Thane of Cawdor. He has not heard the news yet. So foul and fair day I have not seen. So because of the weather, he's basically saying that he's never seen a bad day but a good day at the same time, because the weather is bad, but because they want a battle, it's a good day. So speaks similar to the witches. He has a corruptible dark side. So Banquo says, how far is it called to Forres? What are these? On their way to receive their award, 2 mistons, so withered and so wild in their attire, that look not like the inhabitants of the earth, and yet are on it. Live you, or are you aught? That man may question. You seem to understand me, by each at once, her choppy finger laying upon her skinny lips. You should be woman, and yet your beards forbid me to interpret that you are. So you've seen the witches. He's basically saying, you don't look like you're from the earth. They look crazy, if I can put it that way. And he says that he would like to think that they're women, but because they have beards, he cannot say for sure that they are. So Macbeth says to the witches, speak if you can. What are you? So the first witch says, all hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Glamis. So that's his present title. So they're greeting him with his present title. Then the second witch says, all hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane of Cawdor. the new title, Macbeth's new position. Now keep in mind, Macbeth doesn't know he's the Thane of Cawdor yet. He still thinks he is the Thane of Glamis, okay? So what the witches are basically trying to do is, like in a way, fortune tell what he's going to become. So like the third witch here says, all hail Macbeth, that shall be king hereafter, so then that he'll be the future king. So basically what they're doing is the witches know that he's going to be Thane of Cawdor. That's why they say, hail Thane of Cawdor. But now Macbeth doesn't know it yet. But you'll see that what they do is they're tricking him. So when he hears that he is the title of Thane, when he is the title, has the title of Thane of Cawdor, he is under the impression that their prophecies come true. So now Banquo says to them, good sir, why do you start and seem to fear things that do sound so fair? So Banquo is asking Macbeth, why are you like scared and seem to fear things that sound so good? I, the name of truth, are you fantastical? Or that indeed which outwardly you show? My noble partner, you greet with present grace and great prediction of noble having and of royal hope, that he seems rapt withal. To me you speak not. If you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, then speak to me, who neither beg nor fear your favors nor your hate. So Banquo is basically saying, if you can see in the future, you've only given Macbeth his prophecy. What about me? So the first witch says hail, and the second witch says hail, third witch says hail. The first witch, lesser than Macbeth and greater. So she's basically saying that Banquo is not himself good as Macbeth, but he is greater in the future. He'll be greater. So basically saying his children will be greater than Macbeth. The second witch says, not so happy, yet much happier. So Banquo won't be happy, but his children will be happier. The third witch, thou shalt get kings, though thou be none. So his children will be kings, although Banquo will never be a king. And the three witches say, so all hail Macbeth and Banquo. Banquo and Macbeth all hail. The mist thickens. Macbeth says, say, you imperfect speakers, tell me more. By Sinil's death I know I am Thane of Glamis, but how of Cawdor? The Thane of Cawdor lives, a prosperous gentleman, and to be the king stands not within the prospect of belief, no more than to be Cawdor. Say from whence you owe this strange intelligence, or why upon this blasted heath you stop our way, which such prophet greeting? Speak, I charge you. So it's not speaking sense. He doesn't understand that he's the Thane of Cawdor yet. Like I said, I think, once again, I'm not 100% sure on this, but I think Macbeth thinks that MacDonald didn't do anything wrong, even though he did. So I don't think Macbeth knows that MacDonald went against the king. So he asks him to speak and like talk more, and they disappear. So Banquo says, the earth hath bubbles, as water has, and these are of them. Whither have they vanished? So witches disappear like bubbles. So then Macbeth says, into the air what seemed corporal melted, as breath to the wood. Would they have stayed? They disappeared into the air and wind. Banquo, were such things here as we do speak about, or have we eaten on the insane root that takes the reason prisoner? So he's saying, did we really see what we just saw, or are we crazy and like, are we hallucinating? So Macbeth says, your children shall be kings. And Banquo says to him, you shall be king. So Macbeth says, and Thane of Cawdor too, went it not so? So he was saying, and the Thane of Cawdor did they not say? So Banquo says, to the self-same tune and words, who's here? So they hear words and they say who's here. So it's into Ross and Angus. Okay. So Ross says, the king hath happily received Macbeth, thy news of thy success, and when he reads thy personal venture in the rebels' fight, his wonders and his praises do content, which should be thine or his. Silence with that. In viewing over the rest of the same day, he finds thee in the stout Norwegian ranks, nothing afeard of what thyself didst make, strange images of death, as thick as hail, came post with post, and everyone did bear the praises in his kingdom's great defense, and poured them down before him. So the king is so grateful to Macbeth, he doesn't know how to reward him. Heard he fought the two enemies, and he's very pleased with Macbeth. So Angus says, "We are sent to give thee from thy royal master thanks, only to herald thee into his sight, not pay thee." So men have come to thank Macbeth and escort him to the king. So Ross says, "And for an earnest of a greater honour, he bade me from him call thee Thane of Cawdor, in which addition, hail, most worthy Thane, for it is thine." So you're saying, the king has told me to tell you that you are now the Thane of Cawdor, and it's your title. So Banquo says, "What? Can the devils speak true? So can the witches, are they telling the truth?" Macbeth says, "The Thane of Cawdor lives. Why do you dress me in borrowed robes?" So he's saying the Thane of Cawdor is still alive. Why are you addressing me in a title that is not mine? And then Angus says, "Who was the Thane lives yet, but under heavy judgment bears that life which he deserves to lose, whether he was combined with those of Norway, or did line with the rebel with hidden help and vantage, or that with both he laboured in his country's wrack, I know not, but his treason's capital confessed and proved have overthrown him." So the Thane of Cawdor is still alive, but he is about to be executed for treason. Okay, so you see what I said about MacDonald is that Macbeth didn't know that he went against the king. Okay, so this is a side. Macbeth is thinking to himself, Glamis and Thane of Cawdor, the greatest is behind, to Ross and Angus. So he's thinking, I'm now the Thane of Cawdor. Like he's basically thinking, the prophecy is true. To Ross and Angus, thanks for your pains, aside to Banquo. Do you not hope your children shall be kings, when those that gave the Thane of Cawdor to me promised no less to them? So he's saying to Banquo, do you not want your children to be kings, knowing that I'm now the Thane of Cawdor, that these prophecies are true? So Banquo says, that trusted home might yet enkindle you unto the crown, besides the Thane of Cawdor. But 'tis strange, and oftentimes to win us to our harm, the instruments of darkness tell us truth, win us with honest tribes, to betray us in deepest consequence. To Ross and Angus, who move towards him, cousins, I word pray you. So Banquo is saying it may be the truth, but they bad people, basically saying that they're going to make something good bad, if that makes sense. So here, 3 prophecies and 2 have come true. 1 to go. He is greedy for future, so part of his life is also left behind. So Macbeth is now greedy to be the king. Often a tactic of darkness. So this is what Banquo is saying. Often a tactic of darkness is they tell you something small that comes true to win you over, and then they betray you. Macbeth does not really listen to this. Okay, I'm just going to take a quick break. Okay. So because this book already has notes, and you can see that this is very important. So Macbeth says, 2 truths are told. So he's basically saying that the Thane of Glamis and the Thane of Cawdor is true. There's happy prologues to the swelling act of the imperial theme. So he's basically thinking of like the taste of what it would be like to be king. So loud, so this is out loud, he says, I thank you, gentlemen. And then aside, back in his mind, he says, this supernatural soliciting cannot be ill, cannot be good. If ill, why hath it given me earnest of success? So he's saying if it's bad, why has it given me like good success? Commenting in a truth. I am Thane of Cawdor. If good, why do I yield to that suggestion of this horrid image doth unfix my hair, and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less horrible than imaginings. My thought, whose murder yet is but fantastical, shakes my single state of man. The function is smothered in surprise, and nothing is but what is not. Okay, so he's thinking about the witches and the prophecies. Can't be bad, but also can't be good. He's thinking it must be true because he has the Thane of Cawdor. If they are good, they would be filled with a picture of that makes his hair stand and his heart thump, but it also makes him greedy and want to be king in the quickest ways to murder. So basically now Macbeth is like, oh, I want to be king, and now he's going to murder. So Banquo, look how our partner's wrapped. And so the reason why he says murder is because obviously that King Duncan has sons. So normally when a king dies, their children take over. But now if Duncan is killed, the chances of Macbeth becoming king, if Macbeth kills him, he can be king. So Banquo says to him, look at how our partner's wrapped. So he's saying, like, look at Macbeth, he's wrapped up in his own sort of thoughts. So Macbeth says aside, in his mind, if chance will have me king, why chance may crown me without my stir? So why he might just become king by chance and won't have to murder. Then Banquo says, new honours come upon him, like our strange garments, cleave not to their mould, but the aid of use. So Macbeth says to himself, come what may, time and the hour runs through the roughest day. Whatever will be, will be. Okay, so I'm going to stop at scene 4, but I'm going to do the rest of scene 3 quickly. So Banquo says, worthy Macbeth, we stay upon your leisure. Are we waiting for you? We don't want to leave without you. So Macbeth says, give me your favour. My dull brain was wrought with things forgotten. Kind gentlemen, your pains are registered where every day I turn the leaf to read them. Let us toward the king. So he's saying, forgive me, I was deep in thought, which is now forgotten. Let's go towards the king. So he says now to Banquo, think upon what hath chanced, and at more time, the interim having waited, let us speak our free hearts to each other. So he wants to talk about it again. He can't stop thinking about what the witches said. So Banquo says very gladly. So Macbeth says, till then, enough. Come, friends. So he's saying they go forward. So then he was saying basically, okay, until then, enough of this talk. And I think that's all I'm going to do for today. So I hope this helped. Because I'm not actually a teacher, but I did do really well in this kind of thing. So I want to teach you as best I can. So I do hope this helps you.